I'm gonna give this Nissan Murano some space because we're in a quicker car than them, so we gotta. Okay. Well, I started at a second now. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we're going to be reviewing a Porsche Macan. Before we get into this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Lurch Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, Utah for me some time with this Macan. I'm going to include links to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Nick or Eric. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. Power outputs are 261 horsepower and then 295 pound-feet of torque. That's so weird that they have cutouts for the lights on the... That's weird. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Starting off with the hood here, we actually have some really distinctive lines there on the hood, and then obviously you got the Porsche emblem there front and center. And then you guys can see with the headlights that obviously stay in place when you raise the hood. It's just a weird looking thing. And speaking of those headlights, they are full LEDs, and then you guys can see with the little daytime ring light down below. I think that little thing right there is kind of ugly. The sensor in the front camera, it just kind of pops out quite a bit on this particular car. Anyways, got parking sensors there on the bottom as well. And then when you take it in together, it's, well, Porsche looking. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 265, 45, 20 in the front, and then 295, 40, 20 in the rear. Now, when it comes to the wheel design, it's a pretty basic luxury car wheel design. We got the silver on the top and then the black below that, but notice the spokes are pretty thin, so then you have a pretty open wheel. I love the black painted brake caliper, and the rotors are actually pretty decently sized. This does also come with adaptive suspension. And then when it comes to the full side view here of the car, the wheels do pop out quite a bit. But other than that, I mean, there's that little like piece of plastic trim there at the bottom, which is kind of random. But again, it looks like a Porsche. So here is our key fob. Obviously got the Porsche logo there at the top. We have our unlock or lock function and the opening here for the rear hatch. We have a cargo cover built in with this, and then you guys can see storage space is actually really solid, and this one actually has a WeatherTech floor mat that's not from the factory, and there's a little 12 volt there off to the side. You have these buttons to actually raise and lower the rear suspension so that you can access the loading floor here a little bit easier. And then we have this dinky little spare tire down below. When you're all done, you can lock it, or you can just close it without locking it. Now, the Macan definitely has very unique lights. You guys can see while they're on, definitely cool looking. And then obviously that light bar effect with the Porsche logo, the Macan logo as well. And then down below, we've got pretty aggressive looking exhaust tip covers, I guess I should say, because the tips are inside. And then you got parking sensors there at the bottom as well. And then when it comes to the rear end, I actually think that it's pretty good looking. I think this looks a lot better than the front end of the vehicle, but it almost looks like it could be the front end of another car. Now, as you can see, we've got this like two-tone door panel with a sunshade here at the top, but I definitely love the coloration here, and just like most Porsches, really tight fit with all of the leather and just with all of the controls in general. And then we've got the Bose sound system. And then we have these tan leather seats in this particular one. Notice perforated there in the center portion of the seat. Now, I do have the seat back a little bit, but legroom in the Macan is still pretty cramped. Headroom, however, is quite a bit better. Now we do have some vents back here. We've got our temperature control, heated seats for the rear, and then we have some USBs down below. Oh, this has a cup holder armrest, so that makes it, you know, the best car ever. The front door panel is pretty much identical to the rear with the use of leather, and again, that two-tone design and then darker trim right there. We do have memory seats. We've got all of our window controls here, and again, just really tight feeling with all of the controls. And then you can power fold in the mirrors. That's to open up the hatch, and there is a quick look at the mirror. Front seats are pretty snazzy looking. Again, perforated leather all down the center of the seat. And you can see padding is really nice. Power adjustments there on the side with lumbar adjustment. So pretty basic looking pedals down below. We've got our light control here, and then this is actually the stop-start function. With the steering wheel, we've got really nice leather trim all around, and then you got the stitching there on the center portion. Paddle shifters here on the back for that dual clutch automatic. And you got stuff like your voice command controls, phone controls, you know, practical stuff. Turn signal stock, cruise control stock, and then windshield wiper stock. Now we have our gauge cluster here, which I'm a huge fan of because it's not Porsche's like upgraded crazy digital gauge cluster they have in some of their newer vehicles. But anyways, you can see mostly analog, and then we do have this little screen here off to the side where we can kind of see different bits of info on like vehicle, audio, all that kind of stuff, you know, normal car stuff. Of course, we have our little Porsche clock here at the top, and then we've got really nice leather trim here on the dash, and even this portion has got leather trim as well, where a lot of automakers will just put plastic there nowadays. Now with it in reverse, we've got trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and you guys can see that I can actually change the whole viewpoint here with the camera system. And so this actually has a really good 360 camera system. I'm actually pretty impressed with the system overall. As for the infotainment screen, first off, sorry about the glare. Secondly, we have a shortcut bar here on the side, and response time with the screen is actually really good. And I feel like I can confidently say now that, sorry about the audio right there for a second, that, you know, Porsche has a really solid infotainment system that's pretty intuitive, it's easy to use, it's responsive. I mean, it has everything that you could want. And we have analog controls for like the volume and the radio station. I love how it also tells you like the max top speed you can go with this. And then again, fin finish inside here is really nice is what I'm noticing. Now we have a bunch of controls here in this area. First off, at the top portion, you've got like a bunch of climate controls. This does have a dual zone climate system. It's pretty easy to use. I do like the feel of these switches. Definitely has a nice tactile feel, and you can hear the sound of it too. And then you've got more stuff. So like for the heated and cooled seats, you just press those little buttons right there. And then we actually have an off-road mode with this, and you got like hill descent control, and then you got like steering assist. That is for your auto stop start, your parking assist, parking brake. And then we have our sport mode, which you can just turn on by pressing that button. And then it also has adjustable suspension, and you can also adjust the ride height with that button. And then we have our stability control button. We've got some more storage space, cup holder action happening here, and then center console. Got some USBs in there, wireless phone charging pad, and then some nice leather trim on top of the center console. I love the latch there for the glove box. Something feels high quality, and then it's lined with felt. Now we have a bunch of buttons here at the top. The main stuff, you can turn off the parking sensors. You got different stuff for the light controls, and then controls here for the panoramic sunroof that we have at the top, and then just a darker colored headliner. Now the Macan starts at just over $57,000, but Porsche is notorious for making everything optional, and so you can easily get this into like the $60,000, $70,000 range, no problem. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, and I don't know why it turned on music automatically. Both of the mirrors, looks like they've got blind spot. Then throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. Now, I purposely didn't talk about the shifter and the walk around because, well, it's a Porsche shifter. There's not much to go over. It definitely feels nice though, putting into gear. Porsche has definitely done a really good job with like the tactile feel on quite a few bits in their vehicles, which, yeah, it definitely adds to the experience when you are driving the vehicle. Now, in terms of tactile feel, that definitely doesn't apply to the turn signal indicator because, man, that thing is just cheap plastic. But anyways, this dual clutch, really smooth actually, even at low speeds, quick with the shifts. And I've just got the suspension in the comfort setting right now. So, and that's what most people are gonna drive this with is, you know, once you pop it into the sports setting and all that, that'd be great if you're on a racetrack, but for regular roads that have bumps and everything, it just makes it a little bit too aggressive. Yeah, it's pretty smooth. You know, it has that kind of like normal crossover feel. Handling's really good. Kind of drives more like a sports car than it does like a SUV. I'm gonna pop it in the sport mode, but I am gonna just put the suspension in soft. Yeah, instantly downshifted, got really aggressive. So getting up and moving again. Woo, really quick with those gear shifts. I mean, I'll use the paddle, like just instant. Yeah, Porsche knows how to make a dual clutch. I will say though, when you come up to a full stop, it does kind of do the dual clutch like kind of shutter thing, where it just kind of, it vibrates the whole vehicle just a little bit. So definitely just take that into account. We'll get our acceleration here. Those little transmission farts, that's funny. Listen to that. That actually, you know, for a 4-cylinder, it doesn't sound too shabby. That's a pretty good sound. Again, super smooth though. Like, I'm gonna put this into the harshest setting with the suspension. I just want to see how rough this actually gets. Okay, can I pop it back into automatic mode? No, I'm stuck in manual mode. Great. The thing that is annoying is most cars you can just hold down the plus paddle and it'll automatically put it back in automatic mode, but it doesn't look like this does that. Oh, now it's in automatic mode. That's, I don't know. I quit, but I'm in the harshest suspension setting. It's a little bit bumpier, but it's honestly not, it's not obnoxious. Like I wouldn't want to have the suspension in this setting on the highway, but you know, I wouldn't, it's yeah, it's fine. I do love the steering too with this. So just take it out of sport and put the suspension to soft. Summing things up here with this, styling, I mean, you either like Porsche styling or you don't. It looks like a regular crossover, but obviously Porsche, right? Probably annoying people when I say that. Interior is mixed, honestly. Like this stuff, like really nice, and fit and finish is fantastic, but then you have like nice bits like that next to like crappy plastic. And so I don't know, it just kind of, like the shifter too, for example, it's like nice on part of the head and then you have crappy plastic. So it's just a weird mixed experience. And so what I have to say is, you know, overall I love the driving experience. I think it's fun. If you're not really going to use this for the driving experience, like you're just using this as a commuter, I don't think it's worth it as a luxury commuter. It drives really well, it's comfortable, but you know, unless you're gonna hustle this, I don't really see the point. But if you are gonna hustle this, I mean, this handles and drives so much better than like 99% of crossovers on the market. That's gonna sum things up with our video on this Macan. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this vehicle. Check out the info in the description down below. Ask for Nick or Eric if you have any questions. I'll see you.